videos where we have game breakdowns, we have roster moves, we give our opinions on what we see. We aren't overly analytical here, but we just talk about what we see, what we like, and what we don't like. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Share it with your friends, and let's build the community together. Until then, we'll catch you in the next one. Hello, Cubs fans, and welcome to the channel. This is the Average Fan channel, taking on the average perspective for Chicago sports. These are the Cubs videos where we have game breakdowns, we have roster moves, we give our opinions on what we see. We aren't overly analytical here, but we just talk about what we see, what we like, and what we don't like. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Share it with your friends, and let's build the community together. Until then, we'll catch you in the next one. Hello, Cubs fans, and welcome to the channel. This is the Average Fan channel, taking on the average perspective for Chicago sports. These are the Cubs videos where we have game breakdowns, we have roster moves, we give our opinions on what we see. We aren't overly analytical here, but we just talk about what we see, what we like, and what we don't like. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Share it with your friends, and let's build the community together. Until then, we'll catch you in the next one. Hello. Damn, I have my mic muted. Let's try that again. Good afternoon, Cubs fans. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome in. It's AJ, your average fan here. Check it out, man. It's Thursday. It's our favorite day of the week. We get to go over everything that's happened in the last week of Cubs baseball. We get to look ahead for the remainder of the schedule of May. Yeah, we got some decent stuff to talk about here today, and yeah, we will definitely be starting off with that White Sox series. So Friday, May 16th, the White Sox come on into town looking to take on the Cubs. Coming into that series, the White Sox actually had the season, or I'm sorry, the lifetime record on the Cubs. I believe it was 53 or 52 and 54, something like that. And the White Sox left absolutely heartbroken. Cade Horton, with his first start, got the W. He allowed 3 runs in the game, and the Cubs just absolutely dominated on Friday, 13-3, just absolutely obliterated the White Sox. You move on into Saturday. Uh, Not so much of a whooping, but Matt Boyd doing absolutely Matt Boyd things, just absolutely cruising through 6 innings for the Cubs once again. 3 runs on 6 hits for the Sox, and the Cubs 7 runs on 9 hits for the day. So the Cubs just kind of moving on along, and then you come in the Sunday. Um, More or less the same. Pomerantz gets the win in that game. The offense took a little while to get going, but they finally did get going. Win that game 6-2. Sweep the Sox. Take the lifetime cross-town classic rivalry record. You love to see it. The Cubs were in a position where they kind of needed to be able to sweep a bad team. They played Miami right before the White Sox, and they should have swept that series as well. They dropped game 3 to Miami in that series. The White Sox come on into town. They're not playing good baseball. Their defense definitely had their issues in that entire series as well. But the Cubs just continuously put numbers on the board throughout that series. When the Cubs moved out of when the Cubs moved out of that series, they were 28-19. You come on into Monday, you are now looking at um, playing Miami in Miami. Things get started off really well for the Cubs. They got on the uh, actually, it didn't start out well. They gave up 2 in the first, but the Cubs wound up putting up a 3 spot in the fourth, 4 in the sixth. They played extremely well offensively. They did what they needed to do as far as I'm concerned. 7 runs on 12 hits, 7 walks, 4 strikeouts, or I'm sorry, 9 strikeouts. So, I mean, the Cubs were doing what they needed to do. The only real head scratcher on Monday's game that maybe cost you the game was two things. One, you brought in Palencia after pitching 3 straight days and then being up on Sunday, even though he wasn't used. And then you used him in the closer spot since you kind of knew at that point that since you knew at that point that Hodge was going on the IL and you needed somebody to fill that spot. I understand that Palencia has I'm sorry, has kind of earned a chance at that spot. However, on no rest, I really don't understand it. But then you doubled down by not getting anybody ready just in case, because Palencia got 2 very quick outs. Then it was a walk, single, single, and then a walk off. So, that was just not very much an ideal situation there. But, all in all, the Cubs doing what they needed to do offensively. It just came down to that ninth inning there. And, and yeah, I mean, like I said, I think that Daniel Palencia has earned the right um, to get a shot at that spot, especially if you know that Hodge is out on the IL right now. You know that Presley can't really be trusted. I just don't know if I would put him in that spot without any rest. That's the only kind of spot that, or the only like qualm I suppose that I say that I have with it. But like I said, he got 2 quick outs, but you didn't have anybody up in the bullpen just in case. I probably would have done that. So that puts the Cubs to 28 and 20. But then you move into Tuesday's game. The Cubs absolutely, excuse me, responded in the way that they should have. Blow the Marlins up completely. Excuse me, hiccups. Hello. They responded the way that they needed to. Just absolutely obliterated the Marlins 14-1. They scored one in the first. They put up an 8 in the sixth, 5 in the ninth against the positional player. Ian Happ wound up getting a hit in his game back. So he went 1 for 6. Suzuki went 3 for 5. Tucker went 3 for 4. PCA moved down in the lineup and he went 2 for 5. Kyle Tucker really uh, turned it around in this Miami series. I believe that he batted 600 against the Miami Marlins in this series altogether. You look at the pitching. Tyone went 7 very strong innings with the offense doing what they did. That gave him kind of some space to just go into cruise control. 1 earned run, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, a home run. That brings his ERA down to a 4.13. Flexen went the other 2 innings, didn't allow anything. So, over your 9 innings, you allowed 6 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, 3 walks, 2 Ks, and 1 home run. Absolute pitching clinic in Tuesday's game between Tyone and Flexen there. Not gonna lie, I forgot that we had Flexen on the Major League roster. I hadn't seen him in a little while. But in the type of game that it was, it's good to have a guy like Flexen that is a long relief type of guy. I understand that's why we have him to kind of help, either Ben Brown or Cade Horton if they need it. So, for him to be able to go those 2 innings there, just so you're not eating up, bullpen arms, excellent job. I definitely like that a lot. We roll into Wednesday's game yesterday, a very close game. Absolutely, it was a very close game. It was 2-1 victory. Kyle Tucker solo homer in the first, and then Kyle Tucker an RBI uh, double in the eighth. So again, Kyle Tucker just really finding his stride back. The one thing that had been talked about several times on Marquee along with some other podcasts, is that Kyle Tucker really just needed to catch up to these off-speed pitches in especially in my opinion. They were pitching him fastballs and he was just hitting them left and right. And it was just a matter of time for him to catch up to some off-speed pitches to do some real damage. And I think that this series shows that a lot because, Hap went 0 for 4 yesterday, which kind of sucks. But Kyle Tucker, 3 for 4, which is excellent work. Suzuki, 1 for 4. Bush, 1 for 4. Swanson, 1 for 4. So, you're looking at a team that really struggled offensively yesterday outside of Kyle Tucker, but your pitching really shined, to be honest. Um, you know, Early on, Cade Horton struggled a little bit with his command, wasn't really trusting his curve or sweeper all that much, so he was relying heavily on that fastball, which I think got him into trouble in the first and second inning, pitch count wise. But he battled for 5 1/3 innings pitched, 6 hits, 1 earned, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts, bringing his ERA down to a 4.40. Then you have Thielbar come in. He allowed a walk, but no runs over an inning's worth of work, so that puts him at a 2.55 on the season. Keller, 1 2/3 innings pitched, gave up nothing. That brings him down to a 2.70. And then Palencia on a little less than 48 hours rest came in and just slammed the door on Miami. 1 innings pitched, didn't allow anything, bringing his slightly inflated ERA back down to a 2.16. So over your 9 innings, you allowed 6 hits, 1 run, 4 walks, and 3 strikeouts. I think that yesterday was a good showing of what this Cubs bullpen really can be, what this bullpen really can do when you use people in the right spots. And I think that Counsell, to his credit, is getting really good at this. I think that he's had, the same arms in the bullpen for long enough now that he knows what he wants to do with these arms. And I think that he's trying to figure out how to just get the team to the All-Star break and the trade deadline. Because, like I said, let's face it, you're still a little too early in the season to be making any sort of big move right now, which is okay, and I am fine with that because you know, I think that when Hodge goes out and you have a guy like Palencia that, yeah, sure, he gave up the game on Monday, but he comes in on Wednesday and shuts the door. He's given you just one extra arm that you know that you can trust, right? And so even though that you're down Hodge and you can't really put all that trust in Presley right now, everybody just kind of moves up a spot and it's working. At least, in this series, I think it did anyways. And again, I think that Council has been really good at using a couple of relievers for a few days, and then once he thinks that those arms are getting tired, switches them out with somebody down in Triple A, which again I think is a very good thing. He's just keeping fresh arms up at the big league level. And to be fair, Council's also been kind of getting lucky with the way. I mean, obviously, you're always looking at these Thursdays for a day off for everybody to get some rest. But really, the way that your schedule's been kind of panning out, you're using all of your guys in one game, and then, you're pretty much right in time to get the off day in so that everybody can kind of rest up a little bit, which, again, I think is only beneficiary. Tyson Miller, there was some news on him, so I was confused if we were going to have him out for another 60 days or how that would work. It was explained on X in a thread. I forgot who said it, but basically, um, Tyson Miller's since he got transferred to the 60 day but never made it back up to the big leagues, he transfers to the 60-day IL. Instead of his clock starting over, it is 60 days from the beginning of the season. So instead of losing him for another 60 days, you go from losing him for 15 plus the rehab start to now losing him for potentially maybe another 30 at the most, because he could begin another rehab assignment, I believe, within the next like 7 to 10 days. So, he is also another potential arm that could be back in a month or so. Just depends on how his second rehab assignment goes. I really hope that this time it works out. I love Tyson Miller. I think that he's got really good stuff. I think that he would be very beneficial to the bullpen. Really, I truly do. You put him in the mix with Pomerantz, who's been pitching really good, and Thielbar, who's been pitching really good, Palencia, who's been lights out outside of that game that he just gave up, Hodge, who's been really good outside of hitting the IL. Um, I think that he really bolsters the bullpen and helps you get uh, up to that up until that trade deadline mark when you could really start putting things together for some trades to really help you out, to make a playoff push, anyways. And then on the flip side of that, we did get some news on Shota Imanaga, kind of discouraging, but also understandable. He will probably end up going out on rehab assignment for sure, but instead of it being at the end of his 15 days, council said that he's probably going to get pushed to probably mid-June. So instead of looking at a 15-day IL, realistically, it's more like a 30 day or like a 40-day IL, because from the date of injury to the date that he is projected to come back, that puts him right at around 30 to 40 days instead of the 15-day stint. But also, obviously Ian Happ came back in this series, so excellent stuff to see there with Ian Happ coming back. Obviously not the way that he wanted the series to go, but he is rolling into Cincinnati where he does hit very, very well. Um, on some other Cubs notes, let me just get this pulled up here. Look at the transactions list here. Um, this is actually today. The Cubs signed free agent Reese McGuire to a minor league contract. Um, and then, Tyson Miller got resent on his rehab assignment already, actually. Nicky Lopez cleared waivers, so he got outrighted to Iowa. On the 20th, Ian Happ was activated. Porter Hodge on the 20th was put on the 15-day IL with a left oblique strain. On a quick note on the Porter Hodge, it does sound like he will actually be a quick turnaround. It doesn't sound like his is as bad as Ian Happ's oblique was, so that's very good. And also the series in Miami, even though he's on the IL, he was throwing in the outfield pregame, so that is really good to see. So other news, Moises Ballesteros got option back down. They brought up Ethan Roberts, which, all right, cool. I'd like to see him in the bigs again. I think that he's another arm that could potentially help. I mean, you could use everyone that you can right now. Matt Shaw also came back from AAA Iowa, and what a series he had in let's see here. In Monday's game, he went 2 for 4 with a double. In in Tuesday's game, he went 2 for 5 with a double. And then in yesterday's game, he was 1 for 2 with a double and a walk. So a couple things on Matt Shaw. He worked on his leg kick. Ironically enough, he worked on it like 2 days before he came up. But that leg kick seemed to really help. The other thing too is he straightened up his posture a little bit while he's at the plate. So I think that that in combination with bringing down that leg kick a little bit, not so much hovering it, just going more of a straight up and down. He's just allowing that transfer quicker through the zone, really. And I think that obviously he's still a little bit behind because most of his hits were opposite field. But obviously, timing wise, it is much improved over his first stint, and obviously that can obviously improve as the season goes on. But I mean, really, just solid contact all series long out of Matt Shaw. A huge, big time improvement. I would just love to see, obviously, at this point, if this is something that he can keep, if he can keep consistently, going into Cincinnati. I think that if he can consistently produce like he did in Miami, in Cincinnati, this will be another monster series for Chicago because if Kyle Tucker keeps it up, if if Pete Armstrong keeps it up. Ian Happ loves hitting in Cincinnati, so if he kind of heats up a little bit in Miami, that's only going to be extremely good news. So with that, we will definitely be looking at the series ahead. Just to close this out today, but yeah, so obviously we got three against Cincinnati, then we have three Colorado at home, and then we wrap out May with Cincinnati in Chicago. So yeah, you got a 540, 310, and 1240 game. Um, let's see, this is not allowing me to do what I want to do, so we'll do it this way. We'll go to scores, uh, go to Friday, so then that way I can see the matchup. All right, so previews. Yeah, so it is Friday, 540 game. It is Boyd against Hunter Green. And yeah, so here's the deal. Hunter Green is an absolute monster of a pitcher, but the Cubs historically have gotten to Hunter Green, so I think that this is actually a fairly interesting matchup. Hunter Green pitched really well last year, except for when he pitched against the Cubs, pretty much. Um, so yeah, Hunter Green is 4-2 with a 2.36 ERA. Matthew Boyd also 4-2 with a 2.98 ERA. This is a really good matchup, honestly. And I mean, Boyd just keeps finding a way to get 5 2/3, 6 innings out of himself. He just really attacks the zone very well. Same with Hunter Green. However, Hunter Green is dominantly a fastball pitcher, and PCA and Kyle Tucker do a lot of damage to the fastball. So, like I said, I think that this will be a really good matchup. I think it's either going to go one of two ways. Either the Cubs are going to get to Hunter Green early and then just destroy their bullpen, or this will be a pitcher's duel until both teams get to the bullpen, because that's kind of what the Cubs offense has been known for up until this point of the season. So yeah, I'm looking forward to tomorrow's game. Should be a good time. Saturday, 3:10 start. It is Colin Ray against Abbott. Both are 3-0. Abbott with a 1.80 ERA. Colin Ray with a 2.38 ERA. Here's the thing. I have all the faith in Ray, just as much as I do Boyd, because he has consistently gotten 5 1/3, 5 2/3, 6 innings plus in his starts, with no real big issues. I don't remember seeing the Cubs play against Abbott last season, so I'm going to go ahead and actually pull up this matchup to see what the Cubs hitters uh, does against them. Yeah, so really nobody. Michael Bush has one at bat against them. Ian Happ has five, and he's got a hit. Horner 0 for 5, Suzuki 1 for 4, Swanson 2 for 5, Tucker 0 for 3. So yeah, this could be a question mark of a game, in my opinion. We'll see what the offense does. That might be a game where you kind of just have to bide your time and get to their bullpen to do the real damage. So this should be a really interesting game as well. I think that the way that the Reds hitters have been hitting as of late, I think that Colin Ray could really take advantage of them just as much as Boyd, if I'm being honest. Um, and then yeah, Sunday, this is the game that's going to be the question mark for me. Um, we got Ben Brown with a 5.44 ERA going against Lodolo. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's 4-4 with a 3.22 ERA, so I'm not worried about the Cubs hitters as much as I am worried about Ben Brown. Ben Brown is very up and down. He doesn't really he's got games where he goes 6 innings, and then he's got games where he goes 4 innings. He's Sometimes he is very efficient, sometimes he very much struggles with the efficiency. The problem is, being a two-pitch pitcher, it's very hard to be a starter with a two-pitch mix. Um, so really, I mean, he's got to be a guy that can really dot his corners. He's got to figure out how to be able to do that with his two pitches. Um, so yeah, I mean, this will be an interesting matchup for sure. This will be an interesting series for sure. I think that this is another series where you could make a really big statement going up against another division rival. Because, like I said, then Monday you got the Rockies coming in, and then May 29th on Thursday you got off on the 29th, and then you got Cincinnati coming back into your home turf for another series. So really, I mean, it's all the way that the Cubs offense is playing. I'm not worried about the offense. I'm worried about Ben Brown and potentially just a couple of guys in the bullpen. But really, outside of that, I mean, the Cubs have been playing really good. They're at a 30-20 record. They lead the division by 3 runs after the Tigers gave you some help with the Cardinals. So that's awesome. You're going up against, like I said, another division rival here. So you could really stretch your legs out in terms of really just putting yourself on notice for the rest of the NL Central because you haven't played the Cardinals yet at all, and you've only played Milwaukee once. So when Milwaukee comes back into Wrigley, that's also going to be a really fun series as well. But I mean, over the last week, you got the sweep against the uh, the Sox. You took 2 out of 3 in in Miami. So you're looking at 5-1 in the last week, which is excellent work out of Chicago, man. It's excellent work out of the Cubs. The bullpen guys have been really solid outside of like I said, Palencia on Monday, which I can't even really put that on him. He got the first 2 outs very quickly on no rest, and Council did not have anyone to back him up. Um, So, that game kind of really is what it is. But again, the Cubs just keep finding ways to win. I mean, the offense just doesn't quit. The offense will put up excellent run numbers. Their differential sits at plus 84 right now, so they're right back up in the top 3 in that ranking as far as that goes. Kyle Tucker leads the league or I'm sorry, Suzuki leads the league in RBIs, and in the NL, anyways, Pete Crow Armstrong not far behind him in third. So with that, Cubs fans, we will leave it here for today. You let me know your thoughts, your feelings on how the Cubs are playing down below. The Cubs are just keep finding ways to win, man. You keep winning series that put you above 600, and that will put you right there at the end of the year. So, my friends, listen, I hope that you're having a good Thursday. I hope you have a good rest of your week, a good weekend. We will be back tomorrow after the game, with the weekend being here. It's a little bit easier for me to do the actual post-game shows. So, leave your comments down below. Let me know how you feel about the Chicago Cubs, and we will catch you guys tomorrow, everybody. You